Hello everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel AD Analytics. Today we are going to learn the most useful function of MS Excel, that is counting function. In counting function, we are going to learn today count, count A, count blank, count if and count ifs. When we see counting, it looks simple. We think that people will ask how many rows of data you're having and you have to just count the number of rows in Excel. But in reality, in the field of analytics, we will be concerned about multiple columns and multiple rows. So, for example, I may be interested about what is the experience of the salesperson or a particular employee working in a particular department, having a performance rating, so and so. So, with these different parameters, this counting function gains relevance in the field of analytics. In this video, I will be explaining basic count functions, that is count, count A, count blank, count if, and count ifs. We are not just going to learn how to use it in Excel. I also try to explain how the Excel works with this formula in the backend so that you can understand how to apply these formulas with the new data set. So let's begin. So I'm having a data set of 10 employees. The data contains employee ID, employee name, department, city, gender, experience, and the performance rating. So to learn count function, I have added 9 unique questions. So accordingly, we'll learn. So first question is about how many employees are there in total. So if you see employees, employee names are in B column, starts from the second row till the 11th row. So you can see the first you have to see the characters, what type of data you are having in the column. The column contains the name, that means alphabets, or we can say the format date the cell format is the string or the characters. So in such scenarios, to count the number of cells, we are going to use count A. So the formula will be equal to count A. I will hit the tab button to select the formula. So now you can see the syntax value 1 comma value 2 means it is guiding me to select the range and it will automatically calculate the number of cells. So my employee's name is there in B column and the second row. So I will keep the cursor on B2. I will, instead of dragging it using the mouse pointer, I will use shift control and I will use the down arrow key. So shift control down. So it will stop till the data ends. So automatically it stops at the end of the data. So you can see the cell range automatically selected V2 to V11. So you can manually select V2, B3, B4 like that also you can do. But if you're having continuous data series, better you select the data using the range, that is V2 to V11. So I will hit the enter button. As you can see, the value is 10. As I told you earlier, we are not just going to learn how to use this count function, we are also trying to learn how it works in the back end. So let's learn how this Excel exactly calculate in the back end using count a syntax. So let's see how this count a syntax works in the back end of the Excel. So here I have taken column A as the range for count a function. So count A, I have taken A2 cell to A11 cell. So how the moment you hit enter in the Excel, the Excel first select that particular range that you have mentioned in the formula. So first it will take the A2 to A11 range and it will highlight the cells. Then in the back end, since you have used count A, it starts counting those alphanumeric or string characters one by one. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This continues until it reaches the end of the range. So it stops at 11 and you can see the count is 10. So this is how the back end of the syntax works in Excel. More you understand about the back-end operations or the back-end work about these formulas, better you understand where to apply these formulas in analytics. Let's learn the next concept, that is count. Moving on to the second question, we are having how many employees have submitted the performance ratings. So performance rating, it's located in the G column and the number the type of data I'm having is all numbers. So in such scenario, instead of typing count A, I can go just with basic count functions. I will type equal to count. I will hit the tab button to select the first suggestion in the suggestion list. So this is what my syntax, value 1, value 2, etc. That means I can select the range that is located that contains the performance rating, which is located in column G. So I can keep the cursor on G2. I can use shift control down arrow. It stops because there is a empty cell in 7th row. So again you press down arrow so you can reach the bottom of the data. Why I'm insisting on shift control down arrow? Because when when you spend more time in Excel, you better work in keyboard rather than using the mouse. So that's why I'm using shift control down arrow for selecting the range. So I have selected G2 to G11. As we have seen, G7 cell is empty. I should get the answer 9. Let's see what I'm getting. So here it is. I'm getting 9 as the answer. So let's learn how this works in the back end of the Excel. So here I have the second question. How many employees have submitted the rating? Same formula I have mentioned here, count of G2 to G11. The moment I hit the enter in Excel, the animation, or we can say the backend calculation in Excel, will be like this. So it will select the column G, it will highlight G2 to G11, and automatically it starts counting. If it finds the number, then it will highlight it and it will add it to the count. You can see 5 is the number, it is added as 1, then 4, then 3, then 5, then 3. Next cell is empty. It will not assume it as 0, so it will leave it blank, so nothing is added here. It's still 5, then it continues, and you can see the total count is 9. So this is how the back end of the formula works in Excel. So now let's learn the other element of the count function, that is count blank. So here you can see the third question, how many ratings are missing? Ratings means performance rating, missing means which cell is empty. So there we want to count how many blank cells we are having in that particular column. So the formula will be equal to count blank. The moment you type B, you can see the suggestion showing count blank. I'm hitting the tab button. So count blank. Again, it is asking in which range you want to find the blank cells. So again, I will select G2, shift control down arrow thrice I will take to reach G11. I will hit the enter button. Answer should be 1. Though you know how it works in backend now, but let's again explore how it works. So as you can see, the moment I hit G2 to G11 and enter button, the Excel starts selecting that particular column and it will highlight G2 to G11. Then it start picking only the blank cell, which is completely opposite to the previous formula that was count. It was picking the numerics, but here it will pick only the blank cell. So 5 is not a blank, 4 is not a blank. There is only one cell which is having blank. It will highlight it and add it to the count value. So it is now you can see the count equal to 1 and the other remaining data is not having an empty cell, so the final answer will be 1. So this is how in the back end the count blank function works. Now let's learn most important aspect of the count family, that is count if. See the fourth question, how many employees belong to the sales department? Till here, I think the questions were easy. Now it's slightly complicated. How many employees belong to sales department? That means I have to see the department column and I have to count how many times the sales department repeated. So there is a specific condition, that means the column should contain the word sales. Then that only I want. If I just want to do it manually, I can see sales 1, 2, 3. 3 times sales is repeated. That means there are 3 employees who are working in sales department, Arjun, Karan and Rahul. So how to put it in formula? There comes the relevance of count if. So count if function gives me the freedom to select not just the range, but also I can mention the criteria. So count if. So the count if syntax is the range where you want to find the cells. That means my department column will be the range and the criteria. Since the criteria is in text format, or we can say the string, I have to put it in double quotes. That's what the new thing we are having in count if comparing to previous formulas. So the range, I will select C2, shift control down arrow. So entire range is selected. In this, I just not want to see the count. I want only the cells which contain sales. So I will to go to the criteria, I will type comma, and in double quote, I will type sales. Now, is it case sensitive? Let's learn. So shall I type sales as it is, that first letter capital and rest of things in small case? Can I type sales all the five letters in small case, all the five letters in block letters? Let's see how this countif function works. So I will hit the enter button. You can see it automatically shows 3. Suppose if I type sales in small case, then also you can see it will pick 3. If I type sales first letter capital, then also it will pick. So in general, we can say they are not case sensitive. We can type in any format, but make sure that spellings are right. But in actual analytic practice, keep the criteria in the same format which is there in the department column. So best practice in the analytics, when you use countif function, keep the first letter capital even though other things works. Let's learn how it works actually in the back end of Excel. So as you can see, I have typed the formula earlier, count if, that is C2 to C11 sales. The moment I hit the enter, you can see it will highlight the range and the criteria. It will pick the range. First, it will lock that range where you want to find the word sales, and it start the counting machine. That means it literally searched the sales word in that particular range. As you can see, the first row was containing sales, so it got highlighted, and you can, if you focus on counts value, it's showing 1. The, the more it moves forward, second row, again, sixth row or fifth, yeah, sixth row it found the sales, now count is 2. Now again it found it in 10th row, that is, so, and then again it will reach the end of the range and it will stop calculating. So this is how in the back end of Excel, this countif function works. Now let's learn what if it is having multiple conditions. In this present example, we have studied how to count the values using one single condition. That means in the department column, how many sales are there, or in the company, how many employees belong to sales department. That's what this first question is all about. So we had only one question. So let's see how it works in count multiple conditions scenario. You can see the next question. How many employees in the sales have rating 4 or above? So the two conditions, when you break down this question into two parts, there are two specific requirements. The employee should belong to sales department and his performance rating should be 4 or above. So this is little bit complicated comparing to previous four formulas. So that's why we have to use count ifs, the plural one. So that means we have to use multiple conditions. Again, there is no restriction on number of condition. It will be more than one, as simple as that. So the syntax will be count ifs. You can see criteria range 1, criteria range 2, and criteria 2, criteria range 3. N number of criteria ranges you can select, and the relevant criteria you can mention. So if I break down this question, there is one department request. That means from department, that employee should be from sales. Then there is another request that is about performance rating column, that is column G, and the value should be equal to 4 or more than 4. So first we will insert the first condition, that is employee department. So department is located in C column. I will take this C2 to C11 range. In this range, find the word sales. Find the word sales. Next condition is related to rating. So rating is located in G column. So I will take G2 to G11. So I will take G yeah G2 to G11. So that is the second range. In this range, my condition is the rating should be 4 or above. So I'm going to use the operator, that is, again, I will put, because we are using operators, better you put it in double quote. So I will open the quote, more than, equal to 4, and I will close the double quote. So this is the condition. I'm putting it in double quote format so that it will not miss any of the values existing in the data. So I will close the parenthesis. So this is my syntax. If I want to do it manually, you can see there are 3 sales department employees. But if I go with the more than or less than 4, here I may not get um, all the 3 employees are meeting 4 or above. So if I hit enter, my answer should be 3. Suppose if any one of the employee rating, performance rating is less than 4, what will happen? So let's make some math data alteration to check how this countifs function actually works. So if I make the changes in current rating, if I reduce it to 3, my answer should automatically changes to 2. So we'll hit the enter button. You can see yes. This is how the countifs function work. It will take 2 different criterias or multiple criterias with specific criteria request. So we have to be careful while selecting the criteria range as well as defining the criterias. Let's learn how this works exactly in the Excel. So as you can see, I have taken the same formula with modified data of currency. I have reduced its rating to 3. So when the moment I use these 2 criteria ranges with criteria and hit the enter button, first it will highlight the syntax or ranges whatever you have mentioned, and it automatically highlight the columns. You have selected C column and G column, and it will lock the range C2 to C11, G2 to G11. So then it parallel calculate and count. So it goes parallelly. So it will find the sales. At the same time, it will find more than above 4, more than or equal to 4 in the rating column. So you can see in the first row only we had more than 4 for Arjun Kumar. So it highlighted in green, and you can see count equal to 1. The move when it moves downwards, you can see there is no sales. Third one is also not belong to sales. It is not like any one of the conditions met. Both the conditions should be met, then only countifs will count the values. So finance, no. Sales, yeah. Here you can see, even though the guy belong to sales department, since ratings are not matched, that condition is not met. So that's why it didn't count that value. It ignored that value, then moved further. You can see in HR, IT, marketing. Now this sales. So here he is having the performance rating 5. So that's why it's added to count. So the final count is 2. So this is how the countifs function work. So if you understand how these formulas works in the back end, if you visualize the things, then none of the Excel formulas are difficult. This is how we can use count function in the field of analytics. If you like the content, do like the video and subscribe my YouTube channel for more content. Let's learn, let's grow together. Thanks for watching.